It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Texans fans, how do you feel about the Texans free agency so far?
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what I say. Hard work, work, work. Earn more pay. Hard work, work. Hard work, do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of 2:45. Hard work, work. Let me go and earn my pay. Hard work, work. Boots on and lace.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuned to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media. Follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z. Because, we do everything for the gram. And make sure that you are subscribed to the Locked On Texans podcast and to the Locked On Texans YouTube page. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What is going on? Man, I missed y'all. I have really missed y'all. Let me make sure I do this thing right. What's up, HD? What's up, LJ? Woo! It has been a while. I understand that. Man, I missed y'all. I ain't gonna even lie. Look, I do a show every day. Well, 5 days a week. Not every day, but I do a show 5 days a week on the Locked On Texans network. With we do that show. I do that show with John Hickman. And I'm like, the show is amazing. I like it. But I also miss doing this with you all. I miss talking with you all. What is going on with my screen? With my screen. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on, y'all. Because something is something just ain't right. Hold on. Let me see. What am I doing? All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, what's going on, y'all? Like I said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. This is the Texans Happy Hour free agency edition. And before I jump into that, y'all know how we do it here, right? Y'all know how I do it. I just got this question, right? So I seen this thing on social media, and then I heard some people talking about it on the podcast. And I think that the question was, I think a young lady was talking about if you were on a boat, right? If you were on a boat and the boat was sinking, and you could only save one person, and between your spouse and your young child, which one are you saving? Are you saving your young child? Are you saving your young child, or are you saving your wife or your husband? Because some people was like, hey, I can always make another baby. I said, what? You gonna leave a baby? Like, you can't always find another spouse? Someone was like, well, when you find a good person, right? When you find a good person, it's hard to find a good person. I was like, y'all crazy. You gonna let your baby? So, I mean, I'm not answering the question. So, I mean, we just gonna do it like that. I'm just asking y'all if y'all have seen him. That's a wild thing to do. That is a wild thing to have. I'm saying to myself, okay, all right. So that's what we're doing here, right? Once again, you tuned to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Hey! Well, I've ruffled some feathers. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. I have ruffled some feathers. I done made some people upset. I done made some people mad. People talking about I'm carrying the water. I've been carrying the water for people, for players. And I'm taking up for players. And I'm saying to myself, what? See, the one thing that I don't do is I've learned. It has been 3 years. It took me 3 years, but it's been 3 years that I've learned, hey man, I don't go back and forth and I don't argue and debate. I don't debate with people, because especially when I'm debating from a yeah, HD I have. I especially don't debate with a lot of people because I debate from a place of privilege, excuse me, right? I debate from a place of privilege. So I stopped doing that because when I'm going back and forth, I know that I'm going to win because you're telling me something that you heard that somebody else heard. I'm telling you, I was there. Like, I was there. Prime example. Let me give you an example, right? I understand, and I said this on the Locked On Texans show 2 days ago. I understand all of the things that's being said about Laremy Tunsil. I understand that. I understand everything that you're saying about Laremy Tunsil. I get what you're saying about Laremy Tunsil. Now, the craziest thing I heard, and this is what I want to tell you all. Let me tell you all something, all right? Y'all got to stop equating salary with leadership. You have got to stop equating salary with leadership. Just because they get paid all of that money doesn't mean that they should be a leader. That just means that for the most part, they're the best at their position. Okay, Sarge, you tripping. You tripping. You tripping, Sarge. Hey, how much did the New York Giants pay Daniel Jones to be their quarterback? No, I'm asking. How much money did Daniel Jones get paid? Wasn't Daniel Jones a team captain? And he's a quarterback. Wasn't he the highest paid person on the New York Giants? And he just signed a 1-year contract with the Indianapolis Colts for $14 million. This is his third team. And at one point, he was the highest paid. So if you're going to use that argument, I don't think that we have anything to talk about because they're garnering, for the most part, a lot of them, not all of them, but for the most part, they're getting that salary and they're getting that wage because they're good at what they do. Laremy Tunsil didn't get that big contract that he got that made him the highest paid offensive tackle at the time because he was a leader, because he had leadership qualities. He got it because he didn't allow the quarterback to get sacked. He got it because in 2023, he was rated the best pass blocking offensive tackle in the league. He got it because of, just like last season, CJ was only sacked. He only gave up 2.5 sacks. But CJ was sacked 63 times. What are we talking about? CJ was sacked 63 times last year. Laremy gave up 2.5 of those. But see, when I start talking like this, y'all are like, oh, see, Sarge, you're carrying the water for Laremy Tunsil. No, I'm not. I'm really just talking and speaking logic. Now, from the captain perspective, him being a team captain all day long. You're right. All day long. If you want him if he's a team captain, he should be a leader. If he's a team captain, he should be a leader. But his salary doesn't dictate him to be a leader. The salary dictates him being good at his position. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, Corey. And I'm glad it was you. What about the 17 penalties and the poor run blocking? Of course. Actually, it was 19 penalties. But notice one thing. Go back and look at how many penalties he had in the first 4 weeks of the season compared to the end of the season. I think in the first 4 weeks, he had like 12 penalties. And he ended the season with 19. They still had how many more weeks to play? And don't get me wrong, Corey, you are 100% correct. And now that you're here, I don't know what y'all don't listen, bro. When I can agree with y'all too, But when I agree, you don't want me to agree with you. You want me to take the other side. The other side. No. So I agree with you. That is a lot of penalties, especially a lot of pre-snap penalties. A lot of those were pre-snap penalties, but a lot of those was also assessed when they didn't know where they wanted the tackles to line up at. And see, that's another thing that I don't. That's another thing that I don't. That's another reason why I stopped going back and forth and debating, because I was debating from a place of privilege. Listen. Laramie to the side. Y'all remember that game Titus was getting all of those false starts because he was lined up? They said he was lined up in the wrong spot. Titus said, hey man, I went to the refs and say, place me where you want me to be. They told him where he needed to be, right? They told him where he needed to be. He went there. They called another penalty on him. And he said, you the one told me to step. You the one that told me this is where I needed to be. And he's like, yeah, but I think you moved a little bit. He said, I didn't move. I got exactly where you told me to be. Really? So ask yourself this question. Corey. Go and look at, what's his name? Lawan? God dang it. What's the name of the offensive lineman that the Kansas City Chiefs got? Like the Kansas City Chiefs got an offensive lineman from Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken, right? Go look at where he lined up. Go look how many false start penalties was called against him. Go look at the beginning of the season, how many false start penalties were called on the players, and then go and look at how it evened itself out, I guess, because they stopped doing it so much. You know what it was, Corey? The way that they were trying to implement the way that the tackles were lining up and how hard they was on where the tackles are lining up is the exact same way when they first started implementing the new roughing the passer penalties. You remember that? That's the exact same thing, Corey. It's the exact same thing. You remember how we was complaining? I'm talking about fans. I'm talking about us as football fans was complaining about, hey, bro, like you can't even breathe on a quarterback without them calling the roughing the passer. Well, unless you're CJ Stroud, because I mean, CJ got hit a lot of times. Look, I remember an instance against the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of the quarter when CJ threw the Hail Mary and they smashed him and didn't call roughing the passer. But you'd have done that to Patrick Mahomes? I digress. Anytime that the NFL implements a new rule, they overdo it in the beginning and then they start to tail off. This isn't making any excuses for Laramie. This isn't making any excuses for Titus. I'm pretty sure that if I brought on some other beat reporters from other teams, they'll probably tell you the same thing about what happened to their offensive linemen when this first started. That's all I'm saying. This isn't taking up for Laramie. This isn't making any excuses for him. That penalty that he got in the Dallas Cowboys game when Nico first came back and it was a 75-yard touchdown on the first play, that was horrible. That was terrible. That penalty right there, good thing that the Texans were able to still keep the momentum. Good thing that they were still able to keep the momentum and keep that thing going. Because if not, if they'd have lost that game, if they'd have lost that game, you know what would have happened? You know what would have happened? That would have been all over everything. Hey, is that the one where Andre Ware went off? I know Andre Ware went off on something when it came to Laramie. I remember that. But see, once again, not going back and forth with people because I come from a place of privilege. You do realize that Laramie went to Nico and apologized and said, hey, that's me. That's on me, bro. My bad. He apologized to him. But see, some people don't know that because some people don't talk to Laramie like that. There's some of you all's favorites that are talking about this, that, and the other, about things that go in the locker room, and they're not in the locker room. Or if they are in the locker room, they're not talking to certain people. You know me. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna say what I want to say. Because I told you. I can take my media credential, hand it back to the Texans PR people and say, I'm good. And come in and binge watch The Wire, a show that I've never really watched fully, but I heard it's amazing. The Wire, The Sopranos, like I heard that those shows are good. Like I heard that Breaking Bad gets better as time goes on. None of these shows I've ever seen. I've never seen any of these shows, but I'm gonna still be good. So that's all I'm saying. And Corey, not to just be talking about you, Corey, because you know you my guy. And I want you to go on my page. I told AD to tell you about. Have you seen that video of that young man in the convenience store talking about who the hell made these wings? Who made these wings? And the dude come out like, I made. He's like, no, y'all better tell me who made these wings. And then to make a long story even longer, the dude was like, bro, you made these crispy, these too crispy. And he ended up giving him some money. So I said, if the Walmart wings are like that, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I digress. You are right. And that's something that I have been saying, Corey, for the longest. He's not a good run blocker. I say it all the time. When it was Larry Tunsil at left tackle and Kenyon Green at left guard, if you're going to run the ball, then you got to run behind Kenyon because he's the best run blocker that they had on that line. If you're going to pass the ball, then you better make sure that CJ can move over a little bit more or send some help over to help Kenyon pass block. But Laramie's going to have his man. And if we're keeping it a buck, if we're looking at the actual run block, like Joe Mixon made a lot of that stuff happen with the cutbacks. That's why Damian Pierce was still trying to learn that offense. He didn't know how to cut back like that. Joe Mixon knows how to see a hole and get there. But a lot of times, the people were in the backfield. So you're right. Hold on. He's gone. I'll check back in when we're talking about this line and offense. But yeah, Corey, no, you're right. And like I understand, just like I said on Locked On Texas, I understand you got to let Laramie go. You can't afford to give him $21.3 million next year. You can't. You cannot go into this season giving him that, and then his contract expires in 2026. He's going to want another bag, and you saying to yourself, we can't do that. We can't. We cannot. So I get it. I got it. Laramie's gone. Like on today's Locked On Texans, I talked about the Houston Texans doing some offensive line room spring cleaning. They got rid of Shaq. They got rid of Kenyon Green. They got rid of Larry Tunsil. They got 3 linemen that's gone. And I just need to know, well, hold on. Because I'm going to get back to these comments. I promise you all I'm going to get back. I'm gonna get back to these comments, but I need you all to answer me this because I don't know a lot, and I'm gonna do my research, but I'm gonna do it after I come back because the Houston Rockets play the Phoenix Suns tonight, and I have to get down to the game here in a minute. But I don't know anything about Laken Tomlinson. The left guard is probably going to be the day one starter. I don't know anything about him, but what I do know is Nick Caley and Cole Popovich, they got to get this thing together and get this thing together soon. They don't have a lot of time. There isn't going to be a lot of time for them to say, okay, well, let's do what we need to do this year, but then next year we're going to get better. Oh, I've done some research on Ladarius Henderson. He should be back. He should be good this year. Yeah, he should be good this year. I wish that young man would have gotten the opportunity to play last year. He's going to be a rookie, so you're going to expect some mistakes. But I think that, given time and given, so I don't know how many of you all know the story about Ladarius Henderson and why when Ladarius Henderson was at Arizona State, he was blocking for Jaden Daniels. And then he left Arizona State and transferred to Michigan. And they told him because he considered Michigan offensive line U, and they told him, "Hey, you can come here, but I mean, you started at Arizona State. We're not going. You don't have a guaranteed starting spot here. You're gonna have to work for it." And all that young man did was go in there and he worked for it. And so he protected Jaden Daniels and he protected JJ McCarthy, won a national championship with Michigan. And he didn't start playing football till the 10th grade. Like the coach seeing him walking around the high school, be like, "Hey, son, you play football?" He's like, "No." Next thing you know, he was one of the best players in the state by his senior year. So they're going to get him back. Laken Tomlinson is on for real. I got to do my research. I have not done the research on him just yet because I've been doing a lot with the Rockets having a 6-game homestand and free agency going on. Blue Boy, take this with a grain of salt, but Tomlinson specs are identical to Titus Howard's on Madden. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what you say right here. Honestly, I think that we should reserve judgment until we see the full play from this Tunsil trade. A culture change did need to happen, but I did not trust because I don't trust Caserio drafting offensive lineman. I get that. I can get that. I can understand that. And so that's where I'm at, right? That's where I'm at. And I asked the question about I asked the question about how you all feel about this free agency. The new year started today. And how you felt about the illegal tampering and what the Houston Texans are doing, because Sarge, don't do it. Yeah, you gotta do it. No, Sarge, don't do it. No, you gotta do it, bro, because you always keep it 100 with them, especially on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. All right. So I got a question. And y'all can clip this up how you want it. It don't matter to me. I got to ask the question. How do you feel that the Houston Texans have done in order to fix their offensive woes during free agency? You think that they fixed the problem? They got a number 2 wide receiver yet? Do they have offensive line help? No, I'm asking. And they fixed the number 2 wide receiver spot yet? And don't get me wrong, they could take some of this draft capital and trade for a number 2 wide receiver. They don't have one yet now. And that wide receiver market, listen, I said that it was half ripe, half rotten. There are a lot of wide receivers out there. Listen, the best wide receiver out there right now on the free agency market is Stephon Diggs. And he's a 31-year-old wide receiver coming off of ACL. Don't get me wrong. I like Stephon Diggs. I think that Stephon Diggs can have a bounce back, but how much does he have left coming off an injury like that? Devontae Adams would have been good. Not at the price. That price tag was entirely too much. He's an older wide receiver as well. DK Metcalf wanted too much money. Now, DK Metcalf was smart as hell. Don't get me wrong. DK Metcalf was smart as hell because what he did was he knew that this wide receiver free agency market was going to be watered down and weak. And he took his opportunity, he jumped on it, and now he got exactly what he wanted, the money. But you went to a terrible team. You should have taken less money if you really want to come to a contender. If you really want to come to a true contender, you should have took less money and came here where your money is going to go farther and no state tax and the weather. You said you was looking for good weather and a contender. You went to terrible weather and a team that's going to finish damn near the bottom in the AFC. Not just the AFC North, the AFC. The Steelers don't have no running back. They ain't got no quarterback. They got offensive line woes. The George Pickens is going to be very disgruntled, especially now since you went out and got another wide receiver that he's going to have to share the football with. You thinking about getting Aaron Rodgers? That's dumb. But hey, you got the money. You said you wanted the money. If I'm Nick Caserio, I'm saying to myself, you think I'm finna pay DK Metcalf more money than I'm paying Nico Collins? Hell no. No. Hell no. Especially after this young man just went out and restructured his contract so he could help us. Nah, we're not doing that. And If he doesn't miss 5 games, as far as injury is concerned, he is an all-pro. Are you serious? Hell no. Hey, you got Juju Smith-Schuster out there. Brandon Cooks. Who is out there? The Texans want a true number 2 wide receiver from another team. They're going to have to give up some draft capital. And they've acquired that. They've acquired some draft capital. They acquired draft capital and money by trading Laremy Tunsil. The only problem is who's going to protect CJ's blind side. I talked about that on the Locked On Texans podcast. But there is no free agent. So you haven't addressed the wide receiver 2. You really haven't addressed the interior offensive line. You don't know what's going to happen with the tight end position. You're putting a lot of stock. You're putting a lot of stock into Brevin Jordan, who I think is a very good tight end, but he's coming off an injury. Like everybody is an Adrian Peterson. Some of y'all will get that, some of y'all won't. And for those of y'all who don't, let me help you out. Adrian Peterson is the only person that I know that can get injured, and next thing you know, he back on the field. It's like, I thought he tore his ACL 3 weeks ago. Yeah, but he heals fast. I think that, I ain't gonna lie. Oh, I got it. Adrian Peterson was the first Black Panther. Ain't no way nobody recovers from no injuries like that. No way nobody can recover from injuries like that. He was the first Black Panther. Adrian Peterson had vibranium. Oh, what's going on, Cecil? Oh, I'm glad you said that, Cecil. So, number 2 wide receiver can be addressed in the draft. Now, wide receiver is your thing. You did an excellent job at it, but I'm going to have to disagree with that. And the reason why I'm going to disagree with that is because if the Texans stay at their current position at 25, what wide receiver is going to be available to them that's going to be a day 1 true number 2 starter? Like CJ can make a lot happen. He's going to have to make a lot happen. But if everybody, myself included, is saying go get Matthew Golden, you're going to have to go up to get Matthew Golden. Because once he has this pro day, listen, his stock is already high. Once he has this pro day over at UT, his stock is going to rise even more. He is a true number 2 wide receiver. Now, I do like somebody else, but I don't know if he's a true day 1 number 2. I think that over time, maybe after a year or 2, he will be. Where my notes at? Jalen Ross from Utah State. Threat on all 3 levels because of his route running ability. He's a big wide receiver at 6 feet, 205 pounds, ran a 4.42 40. He had a foot injury that shortened his season, but before it did, he had 211 yards against Boise State, including a 75-yard slant route he took to the house. And so, Jaden Higgins, I got him down. Look, y'all, I'm not playing. I got notes, y'all. Don't think I'm just reading off a blank piece of paper. 4.47, 6'4", 214 pounds, 39-inch vertical, good catch radius. Same, hey, the Nico Collins clone, but so is Xavier Hutchinson. So I get it. Number 2 can be addressed in the draft. I don't know how many number 2 wide receivers are actually in this draft that are day 1 starters that are going to be available for the Houston Texans. So you still got to address the number 2, and you could do that in the draft if you're going to jump up or if you're going to take these. And these guys are still, like, I put it like this, right? Coming out of college, Xavier Hutchinson was an All-American. I think wasn't he like the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year or something like that? I do know that he was an All-American. He was a number 2 wide receiver coming out. Now, they haven't used him the way that he's supposed to be. So, maybe he still has that number 2. I believe that he still has that number 2 in him. But they're going to definitely have to find somebody, right? They're definitely going to have to find somebody that they're going to be able to use. I don't know. I say, if you're gonna address it, you address it like you said, because there's nobody in the free agency market out there that I think that is a true number two wide receiver to play opposite of Nico Collins. And if the game plan is to sustain, get you somebody that you can sustain with long enough until you can get T. Higgins in 2026. Let me see something. Because I looked this up the other day, right? I looked this up the other day. What are we going to look at? I'm going to share my screen with y'all in just a second. 2026 unrestricted free agent wide receivers in 2026. Y'all know how we do it here. Y'all know I love y'all and I love to do this type of stuff. All right. These are the wide receivers that are going to be available in 2026, right? T. Higgins, Debo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton. I thought Tutu Atwell just signed. Jamar Chase, we know he won't be there. DeAndre Hopkins signed a 1-year deal, but he's going to be a free agent. Do you like Terry McLaurin? I like Terry McLaurin. I think that he could play. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're going to address the wide receiver position in the maybe they're going to address wide receiver in the draft and then move on from there. But real quickly, so they still got to address on the offensive side of the ball. They got to address wide receiver 2. They got to address what they're going to do at the tight end position. And I think that they have some serviceable tight ends. And maybe with Nick Caley's background, as far as him being a tight ends coach and him coaching, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game, maybe he's able to revitalize Dalton Schultz's career. Maybe he's able to put him in the right spots. Maybe he's able to get him, motivated again. And then you got Cade Stover, who I still believe is a hybrid type tight end that you can use because, when he was playing the tight end position at Ohio State, it was almost like they put him out wide sometimes, right? They didn't just keep him with his hand in the dirt. So you got to do that. You still got to address the interior offensive line. And you got to see the one thing that a lot of people are talking about, like you got to address backup running back. And don't get me wrong, I know you can get one of those. But nah. So Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs are the same player at this point. Yeah, I don't want Cooper Kupp either. Cooper Kupp has missed 18 games, I think, in the last 3 seasons. And he's old. He's getting older. And so if you're going to use him as a stopgap, cool. You're going to use him as a stopgap? Yes. Other than that, I don't know. You don't want Brandon Cooks back? What's up, Alexis? Hey, I thought he played like the same position that Christian Kirk played. I don't know. I've been doing I like that young man. Don't get me wrong. And if he's available, John and I talked about that. So that's all I'm asking is when you're looking at what they've done in free agency so far, then it could also be this. I mean, from the defensive standpoint, I said this on the Locked On Texans podcast. Hey, bringing back Sheldon Rankins was probably one of the best things that could have ever been done. Sheldon Rankins is a very good locker room guy. I think that if he could stay healthy, because I think he only played 7 games with Cincinnati last year. If he could stay healthy, he could be part of that rotation. But he's a really good locker room guy. And Will Anderson Jr. really respects him a lot. He's one of the people that helped Will Anderson Jr. throughout his rookie year. So I like that. But when we're looking at some of these people, where's my list, man? Where is my list? I got my list. What did I do with it? You got to give me a second. All right. So Justin Watson at wide receiver from the Kansas City Chiefs. Re-signed Jake Hansen. That was good. Darrell Taylor, edge rusher from Chicago. Right. Brought back Tremont Smith, who's cornerback and good special teams guy. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm not going to even lie. Braxton Berrios, that may be one of the steals of free agency for the Houston Texans. I really, really like Braxton Berrios. I do. not only just on special teams, but he seems like that little guy. You know who he reminds me of? Like Amendola and Wes Welker, that little, like, you know how they was always like, you ever had that little gnat be by your ear? You'd be like, come on, man, stop. You're being aggravating. Get him. Stop, stop, stop. That's how I feel that he is too. Like he does the little things that aggravates the defense because he knows how to get into those spaces. And don't get me wrong, he can fly, but he gets into those little spaces and then he just does what he needs to do. And that's something that CJ is going to definitely need to keep the chains moving. So I like Braxton Berrios. I like that they brought back Derek Barnett, of course, Sheldon Rankins. They got a linebacker, Nick Neiman. They re-signed MJ Stewart, re-signed Mario Edwards, got the guard Lakin Tomlinson, who I'm going to do some more research on. But hey, that's CJ Gardner-Johnson. Don't get me wrong, I've watched him play a lot, right? Because he plays for the Eagles, and y'all know I'm a Cowboys fan. I've seen him. Listen, he had 2 interceptions this year against the Dallas Cowboys, right? I didn't seen him get beat, and I ain't seen him beat some people. Like I've seen him get done up. I also seen him, like he got that mentality that, hey, you gonna beat me, cool. I'll beat, but this next play, I'm gonna try to knock your head off. Or this next play, I'm going to get it. Think about it. Last season, he had 30. CJ Gardner-Johnson, who the Texans got when they drafted Kenyon Green. I mean, when they traded Kenyon Green to the Philadelphia Eagles. 35 tackles, 12 pass deflections, 6 interceptions. Ball hawk. What year was that? Hey, can somebody tell me the year that he led the year he led the The year he led the league in interceptions. But look, 35 tackles, 12 pass deflections, 6 interceptions, Super Bowl champion in 2024. Playing right next to a second-year safety, Kalen Bullock, who had 51 tackles, 11 pass deflections, 5 interceptions. 11 interceptions by 2 combined players. And we know what the Houston Texans already take the ball away from people anyway. They already say, give me that. Let me have that. You know, you got 2 ball hawking safeties. And you got 1 safety who is not afraid to come downhill and be a part of run support. And they're teaching Kalen Bullock how to do that as well. Like, I ain't going to even lie. The Texans defense is going to be top 5 again. Top 5 again. And if the plan is to get to build from the draft, and you're to build the offense from within the draft, you're going to need that. You're going to need that defense to be able to do what they did, to replicate what they did last season, and you know, a little bit better, so they can keep getting CJ the ball back. Because if you're waiting, because you're gonna have, listen, let me tell you something, you're gonna have to wait for some of these guys to develop. You're gonna have to wait for some of these guys to develop. And so addressing that in the draft, because I still don't know what they're going to do as far as they can still trade. I mean, it may still be some people out there in the free agent market that could help them on the offensive side of the ball, but they still need the offensive help. And, you know, just like I said on today's show, Texans don't have no more house money to play with. They did that the first 2 years. And the Houston Texans are actually a victim of their own success. Because if this is year 3 of the rebuild. But if they hadn't made the play, if they hadn't won the AFC South in year 1 and hadn't made it to the playoffs, then you could be like, okay, because of 3 years of turmoil and adversity that they went through before. Now this is D'Amico coming in trying to clean things up. But they won the AFC South, they won a wild card game, and then they lost in the divisional round. And then year 2, they replicated year 1. So now in year 3, people are looking like, so how are you going to build on that? And you want to say, I'm still in a rebuilding situation, but you're like, but we've already seen the success. We've already seen the back-to-back AFC South championships. We've already seen the back-to-back wild card wins. We've seen the back-to-back divisional playoff appearances. Like, what's after that? And that's where I say you're not playing with house money anymore. If the Texans hadn't been so successful the first 2 years, they would have still been playing with house money. But now it's like, hey, we want more. We seen what you all were able to do with the first 2 years coming out of that. We want more. Like, contrary to belief, there's a lot of pressure on General Manager Dick Casario to get this thing right. There's a lot of pressure on D'Amico Ryans to be able to take this thing up the next step this year, because a lot of these players who you want to make the cornerstone of your franchise are going to want to get paid. Derek Stingley is going to get paid. And after Derek Stingley, you got to look down the road and say, here come Will. Damn. Here comes CJ. CJ could potentially be the first player to make $500 million or close to it. If they just gave that amount of money to Josh Allen, if CJ progresses and if CJ get to an AFC Championship game, you know how much money they're going to have to give him? And that means that he may lose out on some talent. And what the Texans are trying to do is they're trying to win right now while they got a lot of these players on these rookie contracts, a lot of their good players on their rookie contracts, and trying to build that team. And so we're going to see. We are going to see. Because at some point, the offensive side of the ball is going to have to be addressed. And yes, it can be addressed in the draft. But you can't expect some of these guys to come in, be day one starters, and just right off the rip, contribute like that. Nick Caley and Cole Popovich, hey, they're going to have to walk on water. Now, I'm just being honest with you. They're going to have to walk on water because you cleaned out that offensive line room. You said you wanted a different culture. Got it. I understand. I get it. I understand. You want to change the culture of the offensive line room. I got that part. Look, you got to do what you got to do. Cole Popovich, Nick Caley, y'all got to do what y'all got to do. But just know that people are watching. And whoever y'all place at left tackle, he better not be bad. Because I don't know if you know this or not, Nick Caley, you're new to Houston. Let me tell you something about these Houston Texans fans. Right now, they're like, hey, look, I'm glad Laramie's gone. He should have been gone. He ain't a good leader. He isn't a good culture person. He isn't this, that, and other. Get him up out of here. Cool, right? Cool. Get him up out of here. We don't want that. He's not good for the locker room. He had all these penalties, blah, blah. Get him up out of here, right? We don't care that he protected CJ's blind side. Get him up out of here. Hey, Nick Caley, tell you right now, all it's gonna take is for the first 4 games, if CJ is being sacked or being hit from that blind side, they're gonna turn on you, my guy. It ain't gonna take long. They're gonna turn on you. They're gonna tell Nick he was crazy for trading LT. They're gonna say he should have kept LT. We could have dealt with the false starts and all that, the pre-snap penalties. We could have gave him the money. They're gonna turn on you. Telling you that right now. So whoever y'all put over there, y'all better make sure that he ain't got to be LT, but he got to be able to hold his own. And whether that's Titus Howard, whether that's Blake Fisher. And you know what? I get it. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I get it. A lot of these people saying Titus Howard is going to start at left tackle. He potentially could. But so could Blake Fisher. And I'm going to tell you why so could Blake Fisher. Because during training camp, Blake Fisher played left tackle. During training camp, Blake Fisher was being baptized by fire by Will Anderson Jr., by Daniil Hunter. They were giving him that work. But by the time the training camp came and he was in, and now when he's in with the second team, he's holding his own because he got himself destroyed by Will and Daniil. But he's holding his own at the left tackle position. So you can move Titus back to the right tackle and put Blake over there at the left tackle and just give him time to get acclimated to playing over there. But what he went through and what he's going to go through in training camp, if you put him back over there at left tackle in his second year and let him go against Will and Daniil again, by the time it's time to play the season, I think that he'll be good. You want an example? Let me give you all an example before I go. When the Houston Texans drafted Kamari Lassiter, they put him on the field day one. Hey, day one, it's you, my guy. Go over there. You're gonna be opposite of Derek Stingley. You on that other side. We got Sting over here, got you over here. You know what was happening in training camp? You know what was happening? Do you know what was happening in OTAs? You know what's happening in training camp? Every time he breaks the defensive huddle and waits for the offense to break the huddle, you don't know who coming. One time it's Nico. One time it's Stephon Diggs. One time it may be Tank. He's lining up in front of these guys as a rookie. And I'm not going to even lie. At first, Kamari Lassiter was not, they were doing exactly what they were supposed to do to him. But every time they would beat him, or every time that they would do what they did to him, they would come back and they would tell him how they beat him. Hey, bro, you're going to have to do such and such and such. They'll talk to him. Hey, you got to do this, right? Then they'll come out and then they'll give him a different look and do something different and be like, all right, so now in this play, don't get caught up on blah, 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 blah. And then we seen how Kamari Lassiter, because Kamari Lassiter got that intestinal fortitude. I'm going to put it like this. Because I cover the Houston Rockets and I cover the Houston Texans, I'm going to tell you who Kamari Lassiter is the equivalent to on the Houston Rockets. Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson is a dog. And you ain't got to tell Amen. You ain't got to tell Amen too many times on what he needs to do. You ain't got to tell him to do something more than once. He's going to do, oh, I need to do it. Got it. Registered good. Kamari Lassiter, same way. All right, got it. Because as training camp went on, as far as training camp, when training camp kept going on, Kamari Lassiter started getting better and better and better. And now in the season, when it's time for him to line up against these people, he's already been baptized by fire in training camp. The wide receivers that he's lining up against in practice are better than some of the wide receivers he's lining up against in the games. And so I say that to say this, that could be the same way when it comes to when it comes to Blake Fisher. We'll just see. The Houston Texans still have a lot of holes on the offensive side of the ball. And they're going to have to fix that. They're going to have to fix that if they want to take that next step. Because, and before I say this, before I get up out of here, let me say this. The Houston Texans, barring any catastrophic injuries, barring any big injuries to their big name players, they're going to win the AFC South again. I don't see Jacksonville being good. I don't see the Tennessee Titans being good. I don't see the Indianapolis Colts being good. The Colts got quarterback issues. They went out and got Daniel Jones, and they don't know now Anthony Richardson has to compete against Daniel Jones. Imagine that. Imagine walking in as the number one draft pick for the Indianapolis Colts, and they're telling you, hey, you got to compete with this dude. I thought that dude was on the Vikings. Wait, I thought he was on the Giants and then the Vikings, right? Didn't I see him holding the clipboard during one game? And this I got to compete against him? Oh, all right. I don't know what Tennessee's doing. I have not a clue on what they're doing. Don't they got quarterback issues as well? And then you look at Jacksonville, who they've been spinning in a circle for 5 years. So the way that the Houston Texans are currently constructed, they should win the AFC South. They should. Barring any catastrophic injuries, they should win. Right? But then what? Because if you win the AFC South, if you win a playoff game again, you've got to be ready to take that next step. And that's where I'm looking to see what Nick Caley is going to be able to do with this offense and how he's going to work with Ben McDaniels in order to get some of these wide receivers up to the next level. Because, I mean, if we're keeping it 100, if you go back and you look at the last two divisional games, right, against the Baltimore Ravens and then the Kansas City Chiefs, the Houston Texans had an opportunity to win both of those games. And I'm a firm believer that they would have won both of those games if they would have had a number two wide receiver. Against the Baltimore Ravens, they were tied 10-10 at the half. And then war of attrition just took over and they beat them. Against Kansas City, they were right there with Kansas City, but they didn't have a number two option in order to help the offense, to keep the offense moving, right? I don't even want to talk about the 8 sacks. I don't even want to talk about Bobby Slowick's play calling. I'm not even talking about that. I don't want to talk about that. I just feel like if they would have had a number two wide receiver, they would have probably beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. And the reason why I say that is think about what happened in week 16. In week 16, when Tank Dell went down, Tank Dell also caught the pass. That was also a touchdown. And if Tank Dell doesn't get hurt, and Kaimi Fairbairn comes in and makes the extra point, hey, that game is tied. That game would have been tied. And Tank Dell was having a hell of a game. Hold on, y'all. Y'all give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I need to look something up. Because you remember they only lost 23-14 in the divisional round. Let me see this. Nope, I don't need that. I need the regular season and I need week 16. Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. Here we go. The Kansas City Chiefs. In that game, Tank Dell had 6 catches for 98 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 16.3 yards per catch. Let me see something. First half. In the first half, Tank had 5 catches for 68 yards, and then he got hurt. He only had 1 catch for 30 yards, and that's when he got hurt. So they just need a good number 2 wide receiver. What's going on, y'all? All right, so y'all know how I do this. I got to work this thing backwards because I've been doing a lot of talking and I haven't been looking at the comments. But y'all know I love looking at the comments, and y'all know I love one of the thing. Hey, look, if you're new to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, let me tell you all something. This show, your voice will be heard. And as of right now, I ain't got no super chat. And I ain't no text lines. It ain't none of that. All I got is these comments right here. But one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that you talk to me. I'm going to talk back to you. Then a lot of times y'all talk to each other. And that's the one thing that I love. Let me say that before I jump to these comments. That's the one thing that I love. The one thing that I love is y'all interact with each other. And that's all I ever wanted. All I've ever wanted. My whole goal in developing a show like this is to have an interactive show where I talk to the fans and the fans talk back, and the fans are able to talk to each other as well. That's one thing that's never going to change, because there's some things coming down the pipeline that you're going to be like, hold up, Sarge, you did, huh? What? I got a meeting on Friday, a very big meeting for Big Sarge Media LLC, but definitely Sports Talk with Big Sarge. Oh, y'all, I'm so excited about this meeting. I don't even know how to act. I think I'm going to put my clothes out tomorrow. Like, I'm going to put my clothes out tomorrow like it's a school day. Like it's the first day of school, I mean. Y'all remember that? You used to put your clothes out first day of school. Like, oh, I'm going to kill them. I'm going to be so fresh with these boys. Oh, I can't wait. And the person that I'm meeting was like, yeah, just come on through casually, right? Casually. Are you crazy? I'm showing up in a shirt and tie. I don't do that. I mean, you my friend, of course. This guy is my friend. He my friend, like my friend. We about to talk business. And that friendship has to go to the side. And I'm not gonna show up as a friend. I'm gonna show up and show him the same respect that I would show anybody else that I didn't know. That um a potential partner that I had no clue about that I'm meeting for the first time. Hey, that's a tip for some of y'all. Treat y'all friends the same way you would treat anybody else when you're trying to do business with them. One thing, I know a lot of people that do a lot of things. And if I need a service done from them, there's a service that they offer that I need. The first thing I say is, "Hey, what's your price sheet? Can you send me your price sheet? Can you send me your prices?" I don't go in expecting a hookup. I don't go in expecting them to do something for me. I don't go in expecting them to give me something because we're friends. No, you do this as a job. This is a service. And if I was going to pay somebody else, then why not pay you? Now, if that person says, "Nah, you ain't got to give me no money. I'm good, Sarge. No, I'm good." Somebody tells you they good, you offer again, they say they good, then they letting you know, hey, they doing this off the strength. And you pay that back. You reciprocate that somewhere else. Even if it's not offering a service, go do something good for somebody else if somebody does something good for you. That's the problem with a lot of you all. That's why a lot of you all are stuck in the rut that you're in, because you don't reciprocate goodness. You receive it, you take it in, you keep it, and then when it's time to help somebody else, you act like I don't know if I can do it, man. I don't know. And then this person just hook you up on floors? Didn't they just do a $15,000 job for you for like $9,000 off the strength? Did this person just hook you up and give you something for free? And you save whatever it was, and now that this person needs some help and you could help them, you like, nah, man, nah, I don't even know about that, man. I hate when they start talking, man, I don't even know about that, man. I'd be like, I'm good, bro. So, you gonna bring out a crispy polo, the polo dog. For sure, for sure. No, no, I can't show up like Tunsil. I like stick my hands in my pockets. Of course, they haven't fixed the offense yet. It's still a moving chess game with all sorts of players and draft picks to come. Okay, I can. All right. What up, though? Act like we can have better blocking for Stroud next season. It's a very low bar, and we still almost made the AFC Championship. All right. No more early. Hey, look, yes. Please, CJ Stroud is my quarterback. Please, no more of that. I don't know if you know this or not, AD, but when President Trump got into office, he stopped all the DEI hires. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Elon Musty. Elon Musty stopped all the DEI hires. So how you used to be able to come in and promote your show, we're not doing no more DEI hires, okay? We're not taking any more DEI type of advertisement here. We'll send you your letter. You can either take the buyout or you cannot. Tennessee might be the worst team in the league. Yes. Attitude change, addition by subtraction. But Lassiter was a very intelligent player in college. The signs were there. He would learn on OJT on the field. Yes, that's true. That is true. They don't see what we see in Trey and LT. Don't watch chat. Sports winners and losers of the NFL free agency. They have us ranked as a loser for trading Larry Tunsil. Yeah, that's crazy. Because I think that LT won. I think that the Houston Texans won. And I think that the Commanders won. That's just me. Cost the Texans points. Have many first downs with bad penalties. Let's see what up, though. Appreciate that. Killer Cow, what's going on, my guy? AFC Championship game appearances is the minimum for this team. For it. Hey, 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 that's a bar. The trade makes it look like a cereal is betting a Jaden. It's almost like with all those 2026 picks. All right. I can see that. You have any idea on CJ feels about Tunsil getting traded? I have a feeling he's mad that they traded him to his friend Jay. I haven't had an opportunity to speak with CJ, or I haven't had a chance to speak with anybody in CJ's camp. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. CJ's working. CJ's working. CJ ain't taking no calls. CJ is not taking any calls. CJ ain't taking. CJ's working. He's working. That's all I can tell you. If Luther and Golden gone before 25, Casario has been money in third round. Hey, I'm gonna see that. Also, Cecil, let me tell you something. I hope you're still here because, like I said, I'm getting back to these comments. Cecil, hey, I'm not gonna even lie to you. I'm not gonna even lie to you. On the Locked On Texans podcast, this is the guy that I have been talking about. That man is a mountain. That man is a mountain. I don't know if he's still available or not. You know what? Let me go see right now. Hold on. Let me go see right now, Cecil. Because he is somebody that yes. Let's see. Does he play guard? Okay. Let me see if he's at the some reason. Hold on now. Hurry up. It's not doing. It's not moving fast enough. Somebody help me out. Hey, can somebody help me out? Can somebody find out if Mekhi Becton is still available? I like him. Appreciate that. Man. Hey. If he's available, Nick got to go up and get him too. Yep, we talk about him. Not everybody is AP. I like this young man as well. All right. AD, where you at? Last year, Tom said CJ thinking that's a cool bad thing to do. That's not true. Hey, Cecil, hey, let me tell y'all something before I get up out of here. And I don't know if Cecil, if you still in here, man, just comment with 100. I'm gonna tell y'all something about Cecil Shorts, right? Let me tell you something about Cecil. So the first time I met Cecil, right? We were at a Houston Texans training camp practice, right? We was at training camp practice. And so I'm standing there, and Cecil walks up closer to the field just to look at the field. And so I'm watching, and then I turn, I look, and I was like, hey, man, you Cecil Shorts, ain't you? And he started laughing because I was country as corn. Of course. Country as corn. I was like, hey, man, you Cecil Shorts, ain't you? He started laughing like, yeah, that's me. And so then him and I, had some small talk or whatever the case may be, right? So then me, being who I am, being the person that I am, hell, I took advantage of it. I started asking him about wide receivers on the field. I started asking him about route concepts. Hell, he's the subject matter expert. He played in the league. He was a good wide receiver in the league. Hell, why would I not take advantage of talking to a former NFL player? Hey, man, especially to help me out. And Cecil was one of the best people that I have ever met in my life. And every time we see each other, he's still, you know what I'm saying? It's cordial. It's, it's small talk, of course, because Cecil's always on the move. Like Cecil's always on the move. Y'all ain't never met Cecil. Let me tell y'all something. Cecil is always on the go. If you see Cecil standing still, Cecil's doing some business. He's talking business. or he's small talking for this amount and he gone. So when I see him, speak to him, keep going, keep it moving, whatever the case may be. But hey, very, very, very good guy. All right, y'all got to get up out of here. And I did this show. Queena, let me tell y'all what Queena sent me a message on IG. And Queena said, Sarge, when you coming back to talk to us? And I said, this was yesterday. Sarge, when you coming back to talk to us? I said, this means a lot to me. I will definitely be back tomorrow. And because of people like that, and because of the people who rock with me, and because of the people who rock with me and supported me, and I don't say every time, I don't tell nobody nothing. I don't say nothing about, hey man, my fans. I don't have fans. There's no such thing as a Big Sarge fan. There's a such thing as a Big Sarge supporter. I will never, ever call nobody a fan. Supporters. And that's what I appreciate. But I got to get out of here, y'all, because, well, one, the Rockets are playing. Has this game started already? I think I'm late. Good thing I stay right down the street. I'm going to walk right in. Y'all give me a second. All right, as we're talking right now, the Houston Rockets lead the Phoenix Suns by a score of 12-9. I got to get down there because, of course, I cover the Rockets, but Kevin Durant's in town. Y'all know how I feel about Kevin Durant. Make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans. Make sure you subscribe to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because you know we do everything for the gram. And make sure you are subscribed to the Locked On Texans podcast and subscribe to the Locked On Texans YouTube channel. I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Wifey, here I come. Big Sarge. I'm out.